Hi, folks. Larry Rolla here. I screwed up already. I was just talking to Joe. Let me bring him on. I was just telling Joe
Hello,
I have
everybody. Hi.
I took some of them pills, the pain pills, and they make me gaga. So I
Shunga.
screwed up the opening, but everybody's used to me screwing up anyway. So I don't if everything goes smooth, they think I had somebody do it for me. Anyway, I guess I think I sent Eddie. Yeah, I sent Eddie a link. He's probably sleeping. Anyway, let me um, let me go right to these comments here because it was a guy, Vincent. He says, "Hi, Larry. I've been watching you from day one when it was just you and Jimmy. You guys are the best. I would like to talk to you about the cancer doctor you use. Please provide your phone number." Vincent, my phone number is 201 area code 400-3485. The only thing I'm going to ask is don't call me after this show is over because I'm going to go right to bed. Call me in the morning, like 8 or 9 o'clock, no later than 10 because I'm leaving at 10 for the doctor. So call me late tomorrow afternoon or in the morning, like 8, 9 o'clock, or even 8, 9 o'clock, and I'll give you all that information that you want. Okay, and Michael says, hello, good evening, Larry and Joe. Good evening.
Hi. Hi. Larry, put your volume up a little bit.
My volume?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I maybe
All right.
because I'm sitting far back. Is it better now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted the volume to be high. I was fooling around with it today because I'm going to play. I'm going to play two things that. One is that thing that my friend Trade did with Juicy, and the other one is a story. In fact, these two things I want to talk about, they intertwine, um, and I'm in the right mood for it now. I'm not in a good mood. Only not for anything else except that I try not to take the pain pills because I'm going to a specialist tomorrow, and I wanted everything to be inflamed so it'd be easy for him. But I couldn't handle it no more, so I just took some pills. So I'm a little gaga. But I'm going to talk about
Lady Gaga.
I'm going to talk about something that's been bothering me for a lot of years, a whole lot of years, and it's not that I don't have the. It's not that I don't have the guts to talk to these people or tell them what I think in person because I do. Um, but I stop I stop myself out of respect for my two friends, Juicy and Alfred Natoli, uh, and it's 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 stuff that bothers me how people it happened to me too. It happened to me once where how people forget where you come from.
Forget what you got. Now I know what you're talking about.
They just forget. And I told the story about the kid Gillis that was my best groom, and every day he was late for work. Not every day, but once in a while on the important days he was late for work. I never wanted to fire him because he's real good. And one day, and this was in the '80s when I was doing well. And one day, I got him on the side after work was done, and I says, Gillis, I says, you're the best groom I ever had, and I hate to let you go, but it just seems that you come in late on the most important days when we're training horses. And his answer to me was, Larry, I get up at 4 o'clock. I leave the house at 4 o'clock. He says, if I get a ride, I'm there at 5. If I don't get a ride, I have to walk. and I said to him, I says, what are you talking about? You live like 20 miles from here. And I says, you don't have a car? And he said, no. And that's what I mean about you. So sometimes you're so far removed from the real world. And I went through maybe 10, 12 years of really in a lot of trouble. And 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 then I got lucky in 78, 79, 80, 81. By 81, when this happened, I had a lot of money. I had 7 homes, 2 cars in every garage. And when that happens to you, you kind of forget. You don't even think about that stuff. And to me, not having a car is completely I never even thought about that. So that's what I mean about I became so far removed, and I often wonder after that incident what would have happened if Gillis never always showed up on time. I only hope that another situation would bring me to my senses. And naturally, that day we went out and I bought him a car. But this is what happens when you get so far removed. And what I'm going to talk about now is a couple of guys that are so far removed, but were reminded every day, just like I was reminded by Gillis, and they did nothing about it. And they were reminded by friends, by people who saved their lives, by family, and it meant nothing. They just became wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, and they forgot when they used to beg for jobs. They used to beg for something to do to earn money. And these are all neighborhood guys. And who I'm going to talk about tonight is Frankie Valli. There's a few I could talk about from the same crew, but I'm just going to talk about Frankie Valli and the guy that saved his life 2 or 3 times. Juicy, Vincent DeMonica. Nickname is Juicy. Everybody knows him as Juicy. He was a mob guy. But back then, everybody from Joe Pesci to Frankie Valli, to all of them, they were all begging for work. They were taking numbers for all the mob guys. They were patsies back then for all the mob guys. And they would do anything to work. And it wasn't long into their teenage years that they all formed a band, and they all worked together. Alfred Natoli, Joe Pesci, Frankie Valli, Tommy DeVito, Muzzy, Pat Garrett, all of them. Frankie Vincent. Yeah, they all worked together. Everyone played a different instrument. But Pat Gallo played the drums. Frankie Vincent played the drums. Pat Gallo played the trumpet, and a great singer. They all played an instrument. Alfred played the saxophone. Muzzy played the saxophone, and when they got together in jam, they were great. But I remember the days when they were begging for work. They would do anything for work, and some of them did do things that they shouldn't have done for work. And most of them made it a good living, but there were 2 or 3 that become scumbags, and one of them is Frankie Valli. Now let me tell you a story about Frankie Valli, and this story goes about Frankie Valli, and it has to do with Alfred Natoli, who they grew up together. Juicy, Vincent DeMonica, who was 20 years older than them, but was a mob guy, and that all these kids wanted to hang around with. And they lived a life of crime back then. And aside from the fact that, and it was I think it was in the movie, in the play, Jersey Boys, that when they got caught, it was Frankie. It was Vincent DeMonica, who was the leader. He was a big mob guy. He was very, very, very low key. He's the only mob guy I know, and I know a lot of them. I never heard him curse. Not in the most dire situations. I never heard him curse. Just an unbelievable guy. And what brought me to this was I was at his house the other day. I went to say hello to him. Here's a guy who spent 45 years in jail. And prior to going to jail, and the first time they went to jail was because Frankie Valli was a fucking rat. When they got caught, everybody ran away. Frankie was the one that got caught, and he ratted on everybody, including the founder of the Four Seasons, Tommy DeVito. They were all together, all wannabe wise guys at the time, and they were on a holdup, on a robbery, and they all got caught. And Frankie Valli gave all of them up when he didn't, because Frankie Valli at the time was a minor. He didn't have to say anything, and they just would have let him go, but he didn't. He ratted on everybody.
Wow.
Aside from that, and I witnessed this firsthand. And I'm going to tell it the way it is. He's a fucking weasel. He's a snake, and he's a scumbag. And that's Frankie Valli. He's 90-something years old. He's still, for the last year or 2 years or 5 years, he's been lip syncing on the stage.
More than that, 15 years.
Yeah, probably 15 years. I don't know, because I don't follow him. Because
I do. I knew the head security at the Hard Rock in Hollywood. I went to see him. Matter of fact, I sat next to Frank Vincent. He told me he's lip syncing. That's why he does 5 shows a week.
Now, here's a guy, he's probably worth close to $100 million. Now, let me tell you a little story about Frankie, about Valli and Juicy. Juicy saved his life 2 times that I know of, and one other time that he told me about, because Frankie Valli used to try to fool around with a couple of mob guys' girlfriends or whatever the situation is. I forget. All this just come to mind after 50 years when I saw Juicy the other day. But the same thing happened to me when I was why it turned out to be so true. I went to one night, and then I'll get right back to this. But let me tell you my experience with the little fucking scumbag. I went to, when I was raising in Pompano, I went to Bachelor's 3. Joe Namath just opened up a place called Bachelor's 3.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really hot spot. And I got front. They used to have on the stage, they had in front of the stage, they had these big half-round booths that held 8 people. Well, I always had the booth in front, right in front of the bandstand. And because Louis Prima was there, and all the top acts would be there. And this one particular night, the Four Seasons were there. So naturally, they put that's like the VIP section. All the heavyweights go there. But I was lucky enough that I always kept that one booth. And the waitress was absolutely gorgeous. There were 2 of them. I was there with my cousin Joey. And Joey was, I'm going to do a show about him. He was an ex-Marine who got busted up pretty good in the war, spent over a year in the hospitals, got all kinds of awards and everything. And he was not doing well when he got out. And I was notified by my cousin, his sister, that he wasn't doing well. So I went and I met with him. And I kept him with me all the time. Wherever we went, I kept him with me, and he turned out to be great. He wound up years later living with me, and I got him a job at the Concord. He wound up meeting a girl. He wound up getting married. So he turned out okay. But that night we were in Bachelor's 3, and the waitress was gorgeous, and they had 2 waitresses taking care of that, and both of them were really nice looking. So I halfway through the night, I says to the girl, I says, listen, I says, if you're interested from here, I'm going to go down to the Seven Seas Lounge in the Newport Hotel. If you want to go. She says, I'd love to go, but Joe says I have to go out with Frankie Valli. And I says, well, I says, you do what you want. I says, just let me know at the end. I says, and if you want, you bring your girlfriend for my cousin here, you know, the other waitress. And I says, but if you already made plans, she says, but I really don't want to go with him. And I says, well, look, do whatever you want to go. Let me know before I go. And she says, she come back about an hour later after the show. I asked for my check and she says, where can I meet you? I will go with you, me and my girlfriend. And I found out the next day that Frankie Valli made Joe Namath fire her because she wouldn't go with him. So that's my experience with him. And I really want to, and back in them days, and I'm not a fighter and I'm not a tough guy, but it's bullshit moves like this that make you want to, and probably if he was a normal sized guy instead of a fucking midget that he is, I probably would have went and bashed his head in. But he's just a little guy, and I just let it go. But I wound up getting the girl and her girlfriend a much better job at my other friend's place on Federal Highway. But anyway, we'll get back to Juicy. Now, Juicy, I talked about him a little bit. Juicy was the guy that spent 45 years in jail and a top mob guy that you never heard of unless you lived in Jersey, but very, very quiet. But trust me, I can't just a typical old-fashioned mob guy that did what had to get done with no qualms, no nothing, but yet uniquely never said a curse word. But he got your attention whenever he showed up. All right. So anyway, he's in jail, and everything he did from jail when he come out, naturally I met with him, and he wrote dozens of songs in jail. And he wrote a couple of poems and everything. And they were so, and he wrote a Broadway play. Brilliant stuff. You'd never think, and I'm going to play one of the things that he wrote, and we put it together with Merle Haggard's song, Are the Good Times Really Over for Good? I wrote a lot of stuff down because I forget half of what I have to say. But Merle Haggard wrote a song and sang a song. It was a big hit called The Good Times Really Over for Good. And I went to trade, and I brought Juicy with me. And I says, could you, because he writes so many of these poems and so many songs and the plays that he wrote, you'd never know that it came from a mob guy. You'd never, especially at his stature, you'd never believe it. And he gave me one. It's right here. I brought one with me. And I says, I'm going to read it, but I'm not going to read it because I'm not in the mood to read it, but I'm going to read it some other time. But trade combined the two things, and I'm going to play it. And then I'm going to get into Juicy and Frankie Valli and what happened, why he, I really believe, I don't know if I believe that sometimes you forget where you came from, or if scumbags are born scumbags. I don't know. I haven't figured that out. But when you lead the kind of life that I lead, and you're not have a regular normal job like normal people, you don't run across many things. You know, you have your own job, you get married, you have kids, you have a family, you mind your own business, you pay your taxes and live life. Every day is a happy day. When you're in the horse business, or you lead the kind of life like I led or like Joe led, you run across all different kinds of people. And that's why I always said, if you took a big arena and put 1,000 people in this arena and come back a month later, the good guys would be with the good guys, the bad guys would be with the bad guys, the scumbags would be with the scumbags, and the assholes would be with the assholes. They just find each other. So I think that you're born like that. I don't know, but there is no reason for guys like Joe Pesci to act the way he's acting in the last bunch of years. I know what it's like. I've been around celebrities. I've been around heavyweight people. I've been around when they come up to you when you're eating, or they want an autograph, or they just want to be with you, and how a good guy reacts to these people, and how a scumbag reacts. I understand why everybody is up. If you're famous and everybody's looking for an edge, looking for a break, can you help me? Like I remember Pat Gallo, who saved a lot of guys with his talent. Asked Joe Pesci, give me a part in a movie. The nightclub business went out. And Joe, yeah. Never helped him once. Joe Pesci never helped him once. Frank Vincent, the guy I grew up with, he wrote a book, A Man's Man or something like that. He has his childhood friend to write the forward for the book, and Pesci wouldn't do it. I mean, how do you not get a bat and crack his skull open with that? I don't ask. I asked Frankie, who's how do you let him say no? How do you let him? He says, well, what are you going to do? He says his excuse was that, and then everybody will ask me. Well, fuck everybody. When you grow up, you have a handful of good friends that you grow up with. Them guys are supposed to have your cell number. Them guys shouldn't have to go through 3 fucking bodyguards and an assistant and everything else to get you. I mean, I don't get it. For Al Natoli to get a hold of Joe Pesci, who he grew up with, he was in bands with, he's his double in all the movies, he's his stand-in in all the movies. To get to Joe Pesci personally, he has to go through his assistant. These are things I don't get. Now, I don't expect Joe Pesci to give his cell number out to everybody, but how do you not give it out there, especially at your age? You're 85, 86 years old. Al's 90 years old. How the fuck do you not give when do you make a 90-year-old guy you grew up with your whole life, who you work with your whole life, how do you not give him your direct line? These are things I don't understand. And these are the people that I put under in the scumbag column. Now let me tell you, let me go into what Juicy did. I wish I had time to read everything. And he wrote about 15, 20 songs. They were 2 of them that should have been smash hits. But how do you, I'm a convicted convict. I did this, I did that. I just got out of jail after 45 years. Here's the song, will you sing it for me? So forget about it. Plus, when you got out of jail, all the nightclubs were closed down anyway. But here's just a sample of something he really does. Now, after you'll see this, it's 6 minutes long. I wasn't going to play it because it's so long, but I'm going to play it. But listen to the words. Merle Haggard sings like one verse, and then it's Trade Martin singing Merle Haggard's part. Then Trade Martin talks the part that Juicy wrote. So every other verses, one is the song, one is the verse that Juicy wrote. And listen to the words and the wisdom of this top mob guy who was a legitimate old-fashioned mob guy. Listen to the truth, the words that he wrote that you would never think would come out of his mouth. Well, let me play it, and then right after I play it, just listen to the words. Listen to, and all you guys in the column here, in the comment column, I'm going to get to use in a little while. But let me first get this off my chest. Now here's the song, and then after this we'll go. And I named it "Last Days of Rome." Here it is. Just listen to it and pay close attention to the words.
I wish Coke was still cola and a joint, bad place to be. Back before Nixon and years before we had TV. Many distant years ago, long before King Presley's coronation, when moral values once reigned in this freedom-loving nation. It was back when the patriotic fever of the country was strong, a golden age before the ghost of a dark mushroom cloud came along. There was a Ford and a Chevy, still last 10 years like they should. Is the best of the free life behind us now? Are the good times really over for good? In upbringing times when a family sat together at a dinner table, when people were swift of foot to heap aid on those disabled, in days of trust when a handshake and a smile closed out a deal, it was when the needy souls would toil gladly for a simple meal. Before microwave ovens, when a girl would still cook, still would. In a magnificent era when folks at Christmas time made a fuss, when boys in the company of girls would dare not to cuss, when kids were ever so mindful to carry their respect to school. It was in the backwoods of time when country music wasn't cool. Wish a buck was still silver. It was back when the country was strong. Before Sinatra and before the Vietnam War came along. Deep in fine history before came the bailout of corporate greed. It was when the goodly taxpayers had enough struggles to heed. In a period of deity before Federal's scornful law came down. Hear ye, the 10 Commandments in public shall not be found. Are you rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell? With no kind of chance for the flag or the Liberty Bell. Each new day as my fearful eyes search over these endless skies, I shout out to the grand sculptor of all things to ask but why? Why for the unmerciful act tendered by a state's ruling brass? Those who so choose may abandon their children as if they were trash. Are you rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell? With no kind of chance for the flag or the Liberty Bell. Tell me, why must the home of the brave continue to embrace harm and disrespect from recipient countries of our foreign aid wishing to break our neck? Why for the politicos of today disdain coming together to find a cure for an ill-gotten economy where none is left behind? Before the Beatles and yesterday, when a man would still work, still would. And why must the beloved shrine of family togetherness come to an end? What be the name of the next sacredness to perish along with amen? Has the end drawn near for the greatest military might ever known? The once beautiful America, does it now dwell in the last days of Rome? Stop rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell. Stand up for the flag and let's all ring the Liberty Bell. Let's make a Ford and a Chevy still last 10 years like they should. 'Cause the best of the free life is still yet to come. The good times ain't over for good.
Now, I think that was
great.
Trade did a great job putting it all together.
Trade is unbelievable too.
Yeah,
What a talented guy he is.
yeah.
I love listening to him.
And did you hear the words that Juicy wrote?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Is unbelievable. You'd never think that came from
a street guy.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, now let me tell you.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, and he wrote another thing. When I went over his house, he gave it to me, and I says, "What?" Because I asked him. I says, "What are you doing lately?" And he says, "Well, I just finished this, and this is it right here." He gave it to me. He gave it to me right here. It's unbelievable. It's called Nuclear Address. I'm not going to read it, but he's an amazing guy. Here's a guy, and he's the only guy that Cabert, the lunatic Cabert, that John Gotti brought him from Jersey into his crew because he's a complete lunatic.
Out of respect for
him. Well noted that he killed 17 guys, right? Would just put a bullet right between his eyes. Juicy's the only guy he wouldn't fuck with. He would, first of all, Juicy raised him, and then Juicy wound up going to jail a long time. And but Juicy's the only guy he wouldn't fuck with because he knew Juicy was a serious guy, just very low key. And so anyway, in fact, if you remember the beginning when I first started this podcast, the guy I had to get somebody to come on because Frankie Vincent was going to be my co-host, and then he died unexpectedly, and I never did nothing like this in front of a camera. So I asked Juicy's son, who just Jimmy, to come on, and he did, and he stayed on until I did the whole thing about my book, and then I kind of ended it, and then by popular demand, I come back on again, and I'm glad I did because now I'm hearing from people I haven't heard from. Just today, I got a phone call, John Conti, a guy I haven't seen in 50 years. Remember John Conti from the?
Sure.
I haven't seen him in 50 years. He's doing very well in Vegas, and he's and just you mentioned it the other day, Roy Marone. I haven't seen that kid in years. The last time I heard about Roy Marone was when Ralph Gigani called me up and says, "What am I going to do with this kid?" But a lot of people, if it wasn't for this silly little podcast I put up, all the people, I wouldn't have never seen you. I know Eddie, the same thing. I wouldn't have seen nobody.
Yeah.
Now everybody's coming. Okay, so let me get back to this. Okay, so now when Juicy gets out of jail, Juicy was the guy that just did that thing. When Juicy gets out of jail, who does he run into? Instead of these guys all flocking to him, everybody did flock to him. They had a big coming together party and everything else. Everybody showed up except Joe Pesci and Frankie Valli, the two people that he saved both their lives. He saved both their lives. They don't show up. Now, I will say this, at a repass, Pesci ran into Juicy, and they said hello. And so Pesci, who's worth about 50-60 million, says to him, he says, now don't forget, Pesci's life was saved 2 times by Juicy. Serious stuff. and Juicy got him out of it. So anyway, they meet, and Juicy calls me up that night, and he says, "You never guess who I ran into?" I says, "Joe Pesci." And he says, he asked me how I was doing, and I said, "How the fuck could he ask you how you were doing? You went to jail. You spent 45 years in jail. Whatever money you had in the street is long gone. You have no social security. You have nothing. You never worked. You were a gangster your whole life. Why ask? The only thing he should have asked you was for your address. That's all, for your address. And what else do you need?"
Mm-hmm.
But he don't say. He just, "How you doing?" This. All right, he says, give me your address. I'll send you something. So Juicy was all excited. Now here's a guy come out at the Penny, his wife, beautiful Patty, waited for him all this time. And he's all excited. "What do you think he's going to?" I says, "Well, the minimum is 10,000. That's minimum. In your case, because you're worth $50 million in his case, and because he saved your life, how do you not give a guy 50,000, 100,000 in cash? No checks, cash."
Mm-hmm.
He said, Juicy calls me up the next morning. He says, a couple of days later, he says, "I got Joe's check in the mail, $1,000. I had no money at the time, because if I did, I would have told him to send the check back and tell him. And the same thing happened with Frankie Valli.
They ripped it in half and mailed it back.
Frankie Valli saw him, and Frankie Valli was worth twice as much as Joe Pesci. And Frankie Valli just says, "Can I, how you doing? Can I give you a job? I'll make you my bodyguard. I'll give you $500 a week." Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? A guy worth $100 million, guy who saved your life 2 times, you want to give him he's just got out of jail after 45 years, and you want him to travel the country instead of staying home with his wife that waited for him all this time for $500 a fucking week, you little fucking midget scumbag.
How insulting that is.
It's unbelievable. And that's what I mean. And that's why, when you live the kind of life like that and you run across these kind of people, it gets you, it just gets you so angry. All right, now let me tell you another story about Frankie Valli. You all know my friend Alfred Natoli and his wife Sharman. They wrote that song "Here's to the Band" for Sinatra, and he's Joe Pesci's double. He's stand-in. He's in all the movies and everything else, and he's a songwriter. And years ago, when the Four Seasons were popular, he and this is right after they got rid of Tommy DeVito, the founder of the Four Seasons. And Tommy DeVito was Alfred Natoli's best man when he married Sharman, Tommy DeVito. And Tommy DeVito and Juicy were best friends growing up. They went to jail together. So now, Juicy, Frankie Valli, Tommy DeVito is on the stage, and they're rehearsing with Tommy DeVito's on the stage, and they're rehearsing, and with Frankie Valli and them, and in comes Joe Pesci, and with Joe Pesci is this piano player called Bob Gaudio, and Bob Gaudio was the one that wound up writing the song Sherry and Walk Like a Man, Big Girls Don't Cry, and all them famous songs. It was Bob Gaudio that wrote them songs. Well, after a while, Bob Gaudio and Joe and Frankie Valli pulled a real fucking Jap move, and they basically forced Tommy DeVito out. Tommy DeVito was a gambler, and he owed a lot of people a lot of money, and some of the clubs that they played, they weren't getting paid. So I understand the premise of them wanting, we're not happy with Tommy DeVito, but to pull a fucking Jap move like they pulled and just force him out, say, look, we'll pay off all your gambling debts, give you $100,000 and just get lost. And that's basically what they did. They just sent him on his way. They paid, and they took over the Four Seasons. Now, right after they took over the Four Seasons, now it's Bob Guarino and Frankie Valli. Alfred writes a song, and the name of the song he wrote was "Same Old Heartaches," and he records the song and he sends it to his friend who we grew up with, who played in bands together. He sends the song to Frankie Valli, and he's with Joe Pesci, and they bring the song to Frankie. Frankie sings the song. He loves it. He loves the song, and he says, "Well, look, I have to run it by Bob Guarino." And like if I was there, I was like, well, what are you talking about? What do you become a fucking mutt? Well, what are you talking about? You're the leader of the fucking group. Just tell we're going to record this song. We're going to play this song. Well, I don't want to have a problem because when we brought Tommy out, we're partners and this and that, and I want to run and buy it. And so Bob Guarino, who's now a multi-millionaire, he says no. He says no. If I don't write it, we're not recording it. And they come back and they tell we're not going. Frankie Valli, no, Al, we're not going to do it. Bob don't want to do it. I don't get that. His fucking guys that Alfred probably put them to work when they were kids. I just don't get it. But anyway, I'm going to play the song that Alfred wrote, and Alfred recorded it with some friends of his, and this is the song. And tell me if you don't think that this song should have been sung by the Four Seasons. Well, here's the song. It's called "Same Old Heartaches." Here it is.
Here comes the same old heartache. Here comes the same old moon. When I think I'll pass the pain and I start my life again, then you're knocking at my door, and it never seems to end.
Okay. Now,
That song was made for Frankie Valli.
right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. That would have been a perfect song for them.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't play it because they didn't write it.
What a lowlife.
It's unbelievable. Now, I had, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, I had Tommy DeVito, the founder of the Four Seasons, on. We did a podcast with them, and then I went over their house and we had a beautiful dinner. And they're gonna. I think right now we're all putting together the story of the Four Seasons, before the Four Seasons, during the Four Seasons, during the Jersey Boys, and after the Jersey Boys, and we're putting that together now to tell the true story, because and not only that, but Joe Long, probably one of the best left-hand guitar players in the world, and he played with them for, I think, 15, 20 years in the heyday. And when they wrote the Jersey Boys, which made $1 billion on Broadway, and it's still running shows all around the world.
Yeah.
They shut him out. They didn't want to give him a piece. How much fucking money do you want? Now, at that time, this was just a few years back, 10 years ago. Joe Long, he has since passed away. He died a couple of years ago. Really good guy. He was sick. He had cancer, leukemia, and he was broke. He was broke. He didn't have money to pay for the treatments and everything else. And here's these fucking guys worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they shut him out. Alfred, I don't even know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it because I don't give a fuck, because Pesci ain't going to, there's nothing more Pesci could do for Alfred. Pesci don't care about nothing. He's retired anyway. Alfred put together a bunch of money and got an attorney and tried to get some money from him, and they lost. They lost. They lost the decision in the courts, and they even tried to shut Tommy DeVito out, but their lawyers were smart. They said, "How could you do a show about the Four Seasons and not include the
founder?
He's the whole. It's unbelievable, and that's why I have to say, I think you have to be born a fucking scumbag. Yeah, it has to be. You can't. Somebody along the way had to have the balls or to say, how could you shut these guys out? How much fucking money do you want? How do you shut these guys out? How do you make your mother live in that same? I took pictures of the house where Frankie Valli made his mother live until she died. In the I forget what they call them. Juicy took me there, and I took pictures of the whole house in the event we did this documentary and everything. How do you do that? How do you not talk to your brother? Well, his brother's another fucking. I don't want to say nothing about his brother. His brother's alive, trying to make a living. He plays all these restaurants here, plays to the tapes, and sings all his Frankie Valli songs. And but Frankie never did nothing to help him.
That's terrible. That's really horrible.
Well, anyway, and that's my rant for today. And kudos to Trade Martin, who put that thing together. I'm going to play it again when Trade is on the show. Bob Guarino retired from the Four Seasons, and he moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where he opened up another little studio. So I guess a couple of $100 million ain't enough for him. And but I guess he's born to do that. He's really good at what he does, but I don't understand how Frankie Valli, and I don't understand how Joe Pesci, and how could Alfred? And I shouldn't say this to Alfred because he's my dear friend and I was with him today, but how could Alfred not grab him by the throat and say, how the fuck, after all we've been through together since we were kids, how the fuck, what's the difference? How the fuck did you not play this song? Give me a fucking shot. Give me a shot. The nightclub business dried up. You know, we're all struggling now. Pesci's keeping me alive with these movies. How could you not give me a shot? He didn't do it. And these are the things where, like I says, I'm not a tough guy and everything else, but there's certain things that you just have to, you just have to take out the fucking ball and bat, leave the ball home and bring the bat with you and just crack a couple of fucking skulls. Because that business, just like the horse business, it could turn nice guys into vicious pricks by the attitude and the way some people think. Sometimes you just gotta grab them, put them up against the fucking wall. You know, it's just unbelievable. And let me tell you something. Frank Sinatra, who I think is the best singer ever. I'm probably I like his music better than anybody else's. And he was great at what he did, but there came a time when Frank, all right, he left his wife that stuck with him in all the tough times. All right, them things happen. I can't say nothing about 50% of the marriages end in divorce anyway, but she stuck with him during the tough. Okay, so they left and everything else. They left Ava Gardner and this and that. Okay, so I really don't have a problem with that because men are men and men that's the shit men do and not only that, but half the marriages end in divorce anyway. But every once in a while, you know, Frankie, he gets a couple of drinks in him and he thinks he owns the casinos and he thinks he owns this, he thinks he owns that. Until one day, Fat Tony Salerno called him in, and they brought him down. And Frank, right in the basement, went to his knees and started crying, and said, "Please, it'll never happen again, please." And they gave him a pass. So
He's lucky.
He's a lucky guy. So maybe it's stuff like that when. In the days of the mob, a lot of this shit you wouldn't get away with because the mob destroyed themselves. The mob business is mob business, and it very rarely goes out. But every once in a while, if you have a friend that's a mob guy, and I did when it comes to Fat Tony Shula. I went to Tony Spilatro. And all it needed was, just a visit sometimes from these guys. And I'm sure that the only problem was that they had wise guys on their side that were probably on their payroll for a while, and in New Jersey mob guys. And in fact, it was mentioned in the Broadway show. So who knows? Who knows? All I know is that the right thing wasn't done, and I believe that a visit from somebody would have straightened it out. I believe, but who knows? It was none of my business, but it had no effect on me, but it had a big effect on a couple of real good friends of mine, and I think it's shitty. But then once again, you're not in a position. If Joe Pesci is got you a SAG card and keeps you working and making money and getting residuals and everything else, you know, you almost, I hate to use these words, but you become a fucking mutt to that guy because he's keeping you alive. And that's one thing I didn't do. I didn't say I never became a mutt because I got myself in trouble and I had to face the consequences, and the consequences were tough, but I did it. I didn't become a fucking mutt, but I didn't run away. I stood up. I did there, and I did whatever I had to do to pay back. And I'm used to guys like you, Joe. I'm used to guys like you. And if you notice, all the guys that I hang out with, they're all them kind of guys. And I just can't. I just can't.
I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly.
I don't know the right word to express it. All I know is that I just don't like it. All right, let's. Eddie called me up. He says he has no.
Yeah, he texted me too.
Yeah, he has no internet. So So that's good. So let's go say hello to everybody here. I got that out of my system. Okay, let's go. We'll start from the top. I'll put them right up. Okay. Vincent, I already gave you my number. I'll give it to you again. 201-400-3485. Call me tomorrow. If I don't answer because I don't have your number in my system, so I don't answer, but leave me a text message and I'll call you right back. I'll give you all that information that you need. I hope everything is okay with you. Okay, Michael. Good evening, Larry and Joe. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Mike.
David Arthur. Good evening, friends.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, David. Manny. Hi, gentlemen. Where is the crew at? Well,
Hey, Manny.
Eddie had no internet. Anthony is at a neighborhood meeting. There's something going on in the area where he lives. So, but it gave me a good opportunity to get that off my chest. Okay, Manny, Larry, you really sophisticated tonight. Dressed very well. I don't know what you're talking about, Manny. David Arthur, feel better, Larry. We're praying for you. Feel better. Well, thank you. But hey, listen, me and Joe were just talking off camera about this. Joe's father's 90 years old. And what we were just talking about is it's great to live. It's great to live a long life, but the dues are very, very tough. And sometimes, in my opinion, the dues are not worth it, especially when you're in a position like me. When you were lucky enough to do everything in life that you wanted to do, and you went through the ups and the downs, and it made life exciting, and you meet a lot of people, good, bad, and in between, and you've done everything. When you get to be like my age, let's just say, and you go through some bad times. I'm extremely lucky. I have a bullshit fucking back problem that people half my age suffer. And the guy on the screen with me, Joe, his problem is a minimum of 10 times worse than mine. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that for me, I've seen it all. I've done it all. There's nothing that I didn't want to do that I didn't do. And if I have to go through some of the pain and suffering that my mother went through, that Joe's father is going through, that when I go to the hospitals and I see these hundreds of people sitting there and going to try to listen up, I could never do that. And I already made up my mind. I'm not going to do it. And the problems that I have now, and I told the doctors, I says, look, I have no problem. I have you just need to know. Look, whatever I have, Bayer aspirins and Bengay, and I'm not going to fix my problems. My problem now is it's pain management. That's it. And if I have to become a drug addict, you better supply me with whatever I need so I don't live in pain. I paid my taxes every fucking year. I did everything that I was asked to do. And when I broke the law, I paid for it, and I paid for it dearly. I says, so when it's my turn, you better do the right thing. You better do the right thing. And I have, and that's just how I feel about it. Now, I'm going tomorrow to this nerve doctor that's supposed to find out what nerves exactly are giving me this terrible, terrible pain. The last bunch of things in my spine are really crunched together. The sciatica is like on fire, and it's just a lot of pain. Now, I'm not complaining about it. These are the things that happen. Look, I got run over many times by a field of horses, racehorses going 30 miles an hour. They run you over. Everybody, the Catello Manzi, the Ronnie Pierce, all these guys, they got rods in their spines and everything else. I'm luckier than all of them. I just have pain. But all I'm saying is that it's not, Ben Gay ain't gonna fix it. Don't give me no muscle relaxers. Don't give me none of that bullshit. Just pain management, whatever it takes to get rid of the pain. And I paid my dues as far as my taxes and everything else. I paid into that money that you have to now pay for my pain management. And you're gonna, or you, this is not a threat, but because they're going to have to pay whatever it is. You're going to have to make me comfortable, and that's the way it is. And I'm not going to say if I don't get it, I'm going to kill myself because I won't live with this pain. What I'm saying is that I won't live with this pain because I'm going to get the medicine. And if I don't get the medicine, you could believe there's going to be uproars in the hospitals and wherever I have to go to get my medicine. And that's what I mean by that. I'm not suicidal or none of that. Because as long as you get rid of the pain, you get rid of the pain. I got other problems besides this pain. But anyway, okay. Okay. And the guy that's on the screen right here is 10 times worse than me. Never complains, never says a word.
No, I complain, believe me. You know, they regulate it so strictly. I'll give you an example. I'm on 30 milligrams of oxycodone 4 times a day. Okay. The most they will write now is 15 milligrams to somebody 3 times a day. But I'm like sort of grandfathered in because I'm on them so long. And they are so strict about them that they take urine samples, saliva tests to make sure you're taking these pills. They're just so strict about everything. I mean, they don't give them out to people. They give you like 5 milligram prescription for maybe 5 days max, and they won't let you stay on them no more unless you absolutely have 100% proof that you need them after that. Because all the people dying on fentanyl and opioids and all of this stuff, they're strict about it. But what they don't realize is that by them not giving it to people legitimately, these people are desperate and they go on the street and they buy them off the street. And that's what kills them. That's why there's such an epidemic of deaths from opioids. It's because they're buying them in the black market and off people in the street that, you know, it's laced with fentanyl. The drug is not, I don't get high from the drug, you know, and they say you're an addict. Well, I'm an addict to blood pressure pills then too. And I'm an addict to diazepam, which is Valium because of muscle spasms. I've been taking them for 40 years since I'm driving horses. You know, doctor said you get muscle spasms, it's painful. You know, take these Valiums. And I've been taking them for 40 years. That doesn't make me an addict. That makes me take what I need to get by. You know, but there's like a big taboo about writing a prescription for oxycodone or Percocet or whatever. And that's why they give you a hard time, Larry.
Yeah, when I first went to the doctor here, I was riddled with pain, really bad. And I sat there and I couldn't sit still. I couldn't sit. I couldn't stand. I was up and down. And I told the doctor, I says, first of all, you have me waiting in the waiting room for 3.5 hours. That's first of all. But I understand. I understand all of that. I understand you want to give each patient, and I understand. No problem. But I just want you to know, I'm 85 and I have severe situations going on. And just like I said before, Bayer aspirin is not going to fix it, and Ben Gay ain't going to fix it. I'm here for pain management. And he just directly says, I can't give you any narcotic until I see that you need it.
Yep.
You have to go for an MRI. And I says, in the meantime, you're going to get, he says, I'm going to give you a steroid and a muscle relaxer. I says, okay, look, there's no sense in me getting shitty with you because I know that's the law. That's what you got to follow it. So I'm going to go. And as soon as I went, I called him up. I says, look, my appointment is not for 3 more weeks. I ain't waiting. I'm coming in today. Come on in. And he took me right in, and that solved the problem. Now he sent me for this other guy because we got to find out what the pain is. And if they could, if it's right in the bottom of the spine, it's the last 3 or 4 vertebrae that they're all out of whack and kinked, and they 2 of them are ruptured and all blown up. And so they're going to find what nerves are there, and they're going to either cut them or burn them or do something. Oh, so whatever they're going to do, they're going to do. But in the meantime, they gave me the pills that I need. It's only 5% of whatever you call that pill. Percocet or something.
Yeah, it's a acetaminophen and
Yeah.
an oxycodone combination.
So that works. And if I have to be on them for the rest of my life, so I'm on them for the rest of my life. That's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. And me, I have one kidney, and it does no damage to the kidney, no damage to the liver. It filters through your system cleanly, so there's not a problem like that either.
Yeah, and look, when I walk into that hospital, like I says, I go up to the 6th floor. There's no parking spaces, and when you walk in there, every office is packed.
Yeah.
And you just sit around. Like the other day, I waited 3.5 hours to get in, and the shape of these poor people, and 90% of them are younger than me, and you have to sit there and say, thank God, I got to be the luckiest fucking guy in this whole hospital. I'm probably the healthiest guy in this whole hospital. What the fuck do I have to complain about? And I'm not complaining, but just give me what's available to me. That's all.
Yeah, when you need help, you want it. You need it.
Okay, here we go. Sundance says, hello, Larry. Listen, Sundance, I have to go to a party. My cousin is giving a big Christmas party, and I have to go. So I forgot what date it is, but I'll let you know. So you're going to have to come over and watch the dog.
Sundance. You didn't say hello to me, Sundance. How come?
No, she just did. Hi, Joe.
All right, good. I'm only kidding, but what I was going to ask you, Sundance, you never gave me Greg's phone number. I want to call him up, and I never got the number. So please send it to Larry, or get my number from Larry and send it to me. Besides, I'd love to talk to him, and I'd like him to come on the show.
Okay, Manny, Larry, let me ask you a question. Do you paint houses? No, Manny, I don't paint houses. It's sad because half the people don't even know what you're talking about.
I know what he's talking about, and he does a little carpentry also.
Okay, Sundance, Cigar Manny, hello. Manny, 40 watches need 40 likes. Let's go chat. Yeah, that's another thing. You guys that hit the like button, because it does something for something. I don't know. And I really don't want to get kicked off of this thing, because I'm starting to meet a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's getting very interesting.
What happened with all our women viewers? I haven't seen Angelique, Francis.
Yeah, they probably. Did
we do something wrong?
No, it's the content. We talk about all racing and stuff. They have nothing to do with that. But they pop in every once in a while.
Yeah, well, hello if they're watching. We miss you.
Okay, Manny says, I have a horse racing tonight at 10:45. I will be sleeping. It's 10:45. Okay, well, good luck. Okay, Larry Cox says, hello, everybody.
Hey, Larry.
Good evening, guys. Steve Basile.
Steven.
Okay, let's go by all these hellos. What's David say? Where is your house? Where is your horse in, Manny? I want to watch. All right, if Manny's still there, he'll answer you. Okay, Larry Cox, I lost a good friend yesterday. I feel so pissed. Nothing I can do. These things happen. They happen. That's why I stopped my Christmas parties. I used to have a Christmas party every year. And every year it was 600 people, 500 people, 400 people. My mailing list is down to about 10 people now, 500-600. So I don't have them no more. There she is.
Hey, there you go. Speaking of, hey.
We were just talking about you, Francis. Okay, sorry for your loss, Larry. See? Okay. Larry, thanks, Sundance. I keep telling myself it's going to happen to everyone. Yeah, it happens to everyone. That's why I have a good time every day, because you'll never get away from old man time.
It's getting late.
Jimmy Durante sings a song called Old Man Time, and everybody should listen to that song. Some of the lines in that song's are great.
Who sings it?
Jimmy Durante.
Oh, wow. I
Some
think
of
I
them
heard it. I
are-
think I heard it.
Yeah. He gives you beauty, charm, and grace, and then he wrinkles up your face. That's Old Man Time. He's so mean, the meanest man I ever seen. He gives you youth and he steals it away, takes your nice curly hair, turns it gray. It goes on and on. A lot of good lines.
I got to listen to that.
Yeah, it's a good song. So have a good time every day because you'll never get away from Old Man Time. Jimmy Durante. Okay, Manny says his horse is racing at Yonkers, David. Okay, 10th race. 2-hole. Wow. And you going to sleep? Okay. Let's see. David says best of luck. Manny, post time is 9:52. Good luck, Manny. Let's see. Scott Nance, Manny, good luck. You'll get a good trip behind the 1, but big bond change on the 4. You got to beat 2 high% trainers, juice guys, 1 and 4. Good luck. Scott Nance. Did he ever call up your son, Joe?
I think so. He told me that he had to call him or he was going to call him or vice versa.
He's a pretty sharp guy, this Scott Nance.
Yep. Very smart.
Nice guy, too.
Yep.
Nice guy, yep. Okay, Francis. Ha ha, Larry. Juicy took your breath away. What's going on? Juicy, I just went to Juicy. Just had what was it, a 75th wedding anniversary, I think. I just went to it. And it was, the next day was I think his birthday's the same day as mine or the next day. He wished me a happy birthday. I didn't even remember it was his birthday. I think he's 95 now. Okay. Manny, thanks, Scott. This guy is a tough horse. Okay. Let's see. What's this? What does this mean? LFG. What's that mean? I don't know what that means. No truer words than in that song. Yep, Old Man Time. He gives you beauty, charm, and grace, and then fucks up your face. Okay, great. I enjoy that. Yes, great music. Scott Nance. And Manny says to Scott Nance, everything is for sale. I guess Manny's selling some of his horses. That's what he says. Let's see what Scott says. I like the name. Give me a number.
That's what I just asked for.
That's I always say that. Just whenever.
Yeah.
Just give me a number.
But that's the name of the horse, I think, right?
Oh, I don't know, but I always say that. You know, every time you go in a place and they know you, they think you. Oh, what do I owe you? Well, you know, just give me a number. I don't know. Just give me a fucking number, and whatever it is, I'm gonna pay you. Just give me I say that all the time. Give me a number. I don't want to.
You used to working with numbers. Got a lot of experience.
I used to go in the Massey Cadillac, and every year I buy another Cadillac, and I go in there, and Joe Murata, who's my dear friend, he's since passed away. He was a used car manager, and I had to go when he was out to lunch or something because I just walk in, whatever the sticker price was. By the time he come back from lunch, I already bought the car. And what are you, crazy? You know, but that's it. Just give me a number. Just give me that's what I want. Just give me a number.
Yep.
Okay, Scott Nance, watch him race tonight. Okay. Francis, where is he racing at, man? He already said Yonkers. Yonkers 10th race. Okay, fair enough. Larry has my number. Just give me first shot. Okay. If you want, Manny, if you want, I'll give you his number if you're gonna sell him. Okay, 100%, Manny says. Okay, thanks, champ. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Thanks, champ. You're the champ. She's a real nice girl. I'll tell you that.
Who's that, Francis?
Yeah.
What's this mean? Disgrace. I don't know what that. Oh, I don't know what that means. I don't know. Okay, Manny, who sings this song? Jimmy Durante. It's called Old Man Time. He gives you youth and he steals it away. Takes your nice curly hair, turns it gray. Manny, this is godly awful. Godly, what are you talking about? Oh, the song. Yeah, well, I know you like the. You're a young kid. You're not used to. Jimmy Durante was probably one of the best. And the last time I saw him was in a mob joint in Philadelphia called Palumbo's, and he was playing there, and I went to see him. He was great. Go on YouTube and look up some of the Jimmy Durante things that he did when he was just great. He was just great. Great entertainer.
He had the biggest nose in show business.
Yeah. Man, I'd rather listen to my kids scream. All right, Manny. Okay, Manny. Francis says, Manny, you crack me up. What is God's earth is this? This is really painful. Who came up with the beat to this? Manny, go to sleep. That's Jimmy Durante. He was a great entertainer in his day. His day was vaudeville. Okay, relaxing for a change. I'm enjoying it. That's good. Larry, Manny says, Larry, people play the #1 song wrote for you. It's getting late. Yeah, that's the song Alfred wrote for me. I'm going to play it tonight before I leave, if I remember. It's getting late. That's a good song. Jailhouse Rock by Elvis. Manny, did Frankie Valli pay off Tommy DeVito's gambling debts? Yes.
Hmm.
Please give Larry a like. Thanks. Jesse Black. Hiya, Jess. I miss them mornings when you come over with the bagels. You know, I got to tell you something. If Jesse Black ever came on this show, and what a show that would be. In the meantime, a guy sent me something I couldn't believe. Let me see if I can find it. I got to send it to you, Joe, because it tells. I'm gonna find the thing. Wait a minute now. Let's see. Here it is, right here. He says to me, he says, "Good morning, Larry. It's David, your friend from down in Virginia. I think it's Virginia. VA is Virginia, right?
Mm-hmm.
First off, congratulations on getting your patent. Well, thank you. Hope you make millions. Me too. Click on the link I sent you. It's not a virus, I promise. It's a video basically about you, I think. It doesn't mention you, but all your guys you were involved with. Check it out. I think I'm right. Let me know what you think." I hit this link, and I'm going to send you the link, Joe.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable. I don't know who did this. He left a lot of whoever did this is pretty accurate. There's a lot of things he left out, a lot of things he said wrong, a lot of things, heavyweight things he didn't know or he left out, and and a couple of things he said that were not true. But it's unbelievable. It's called how the hell you say this? Let's see. Let me see. Maybe it's called. I'll tell you what it's called. It's called. Where the hell is it? It's called how. Oh, jeez. It's called.
They controlled the jockeys, the money, and the outcome.
How the Mafia rigged America's.
They controlled the jockeys, the money, and the outcome. And no one noticed until millions had already been stolen. If you love stories about corruption, greed, and the hidden networks that ran American sports.
Anyway,
stick around. This one goes deeper.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, send it to me. Don't forget. Send it now, so you don't forget.
I can't even get it off the screen here. Okay. Let me see if I can send. Let's see. I don't know how to.
I'll send it later. Don't worry.
I don't know how to. I'll send it later because I don't know how to do it. It's in the messages. If it was in the.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think I
Just
know.
send the box with the arrow going up.
I got to send it later, Joe.
Oh, all
right. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I think I got it. Okay. Let's see. No, I'm going to screw it up. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after. Okay, let's get back to this. Francis, some PPL have no respect, Larry. What's that mean?
People.
PPL?
People, I think. People.
Okay. Here's the other one. Angelique.
Wow, look at this. I opened my mouth.
Yeah, here they are.
All right.
Two beauties. And Sunshine jumps right in. Hello, Angelique. How are you? Hey, girls, look, I'm sorry, but we keep, I know we're talking about stuff that you're not in the least bit interested in. But thank you anyway for showing up. It's nice to see pretty faces on this.
For sure.
On the podcast. And what's Francis say? Bella, Angelique, whatever that means. Okay. Sundance. I'm better.
Hello, beautiful.
My grandson was in and out of the hospital. Oh, that's right. Sundance's son had a baby. Yeah. Congratulations, Sundance. Your grandma.
The Sundance Kid.
Okay, let's see. Joe G for the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Anthony. Hope you feel better. Okay, question. Being a jockey is the toughest job of all. Does anyone know where else an ambulance follows you around at work? That's true. But I'll tell you, when I got in that wreck in Green Mountain, my arm was split in half. There was no ambulance there.
No, it's the law now.
There's no ambulance.
I know about ambulances. They do help people.
Okay. Steve, maybe when we stop paying taxes for illegals, people like you, Larry, will have the pain management you're entitled to. Oh, I'll get it. I'll get it. You're right in what you say, Steve.
Steve is 100% right in what he says.
Yeah, but I'll get it.
No, you'll get it because
sure I'll get it. The sad part is that if you have it, and why I'll get, I'm sure I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to get it. They forced me. They forced me to take the OxyContin when I left the hospital when I had my knees done. I says, I don't need it. I'm okay. No, just take it just in case. And if you feel it, and they forced me to take it. So I know I'm not going to have a problem. I'm not going to have a problem.
No. That's so, some of the rules are like so stupid. I said to the nurse the other day, my father, he makes me bring salt and stuff all the time, but they got him on a no salt diet. I said, the guy's 91 years old. He got a million problems. You're worrying about a little salt on a piece of meat or a piece of fish? I said, are you kidding me? I mean, no salt. He's 91. He went through cancer. He broke his arms. He broke his legs. Broke his shoulder. He went through the windshield. This is all in the last year and a half. And you're worried about salt.
David Arthur says, I've had 3 back surgeries. I know your pain, Larry and Joe. Yeah. Back surgeries.
That's one thing I want to do.
Lulu. Hey, Larry.
To serve with love.
In today's game, how can you compete with Bert? Before, he would just buy all the best horses. Now he breeds them and has 2, 3, or more, sometimes 4 horses in every big stake. Well, I'm not in the game, so it don't affect me at all. But I understand how other people feel. So that's it. It's not a monopoly. It's just that I'm sure he did a lot of, I don't know his history, but I'm sure he did a lot of good to get to the position where he's at. and I will say this. It's a very, very tough business. It's a very tough game. It's 7 days a week. And I can only say everybody in it deserves all the good that happens to them.
He made $29 million already this year. 29 million his bond made this year. You got to give him credit, no matter what.
Yeah.
Just to run an operation like that it's unbelievable.
Hey, look, and you can't be a moron to get to that point.
No.
You got to be a pretty sharp guy to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, just to manage something like that, I mean.
Okay, my pal Roy, Larry, I am so sorry for the pain you're in. I just want you to know that you are my hero because you stood up to everything and you still standing tall today. Thank you for being my friend. Well, thank you, Roy. I called Roy before. He texted me and he wanted to talk about a very, very interesting topic that and I asked him to come on. But I told him it's a topic that I really can't get into it the way I would want to get into it because it may create a conflict of interest for me, and he understood. And so we're gonna put it on pause for a while. But it was a really good. It's a really good topic, and one that I have a lot of knowledge about. And we'll leave it at that. Okay. Let's see. Francis, I love that song, Larry. The Great
McGaffs.
What's that, McGaffs? What's that? Okay, Scott Nan says, yes, had a great talk with Mike. He's your son, Joe. I'm anxious to see him succeed. Nice to hear.
Enthusiasm. Yeah, he told me, Scott. He said you're a great guy. I said yes, he is, and he enjoyed the time you guys spoke. Yeah, you guys should hook up because he's a really good kid, and you're a great guy, and it's good. I'm glad you guys got together.
All right, our friend PM says, Larry, didn't anyone warn you about Lucky Lane before you claimed him? Yeah, Lucky Lane. Let me see what he says. Did you ever race him again after that incident? Maybe he was a farm horse that couldn't handle being at the track. Well, maybe he was a farm horse, but I heard, and I think Donnie Dancer would know this. I don't know. I only know what I heard. I heard that he killed 3 people. I don't necessarily believe that, but there was a horse back there called Red Sails, I think, that said he killed like 10 people. But a number of stories that you hear, but it could be true. But I know Lucky Lane. I was walking right by in the shed row, and all of a sudden, he must have been standing in the back of the stall. He come charging with his head over and grabbed me by the shoulder. But good thing it was wintertime. I had a couple of heavy clothes on, and he pulled me right over the door in 1 second, in less than a second. And like I said, if I didn't make it, I scuffle around in the stall, right around, and he come charging at me, and I just made a leap for the door. If I didn't clear, I'm sure I'd be dead today.
Lucky Lane paints houses, Larry.
What?
Lucky Lane paints houses.
Lucky Lane, yeah. Is that what he says, Larry?
No, that's what I'm saying.
About Lucky Lane before you. No. I was young. I was new in the business, and I didn't ask nobody. I didn't know. Okay, Manny was referring to Frankie Vale, not Jimmy Durante.
Frankie Valley. Frankie Valley.
Oh, all right. Okay. Manny, not Jimmy Durante. That song you played, I love Jimmy. Okay, all right. Okay, Lulu. Hey, Manny, how come Ray isn't using any catch drivers? I know Mark McDonald is his number 1 and is hurt, but why not hand the lines over? I don't know. Well, let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with Ray driving your horse. I mean, there's I don't say too much. Everyone pray for a speedy recovery for Diane
Dylan Davis.
Dylan Davis, who was involved in a nasty spill last week at the Big A and is still in the hospital recovering. Yeah, it's a tough game, boy. I tell you, when you look at the little postage stamp that they have to sit on, well, they never really sit on it. It's just there. It's basically they had to hold the stirrups in place where they have to balance themselves, going 40 miles an hour on it's dangerous. Yet, when we used to have them races in Pompano, where all the jockeys used to come over and practice for a week before the jockeys actually drove the harness horses in a race, they would say, "How the fuck this is more dangerous?" And in a way, it is.
Much more dangerous.
Yeah, but they didn't like that. Sundance 62 watching. Please hit the like button, ring the bell, and subscribe. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. It does something. I don't know what it does, but it does something. Question, Larry, is Ron Pierce still coming on? I got a call from Greg Peck, and he told me that Ronnie Pierce called and said he will be on. I think he said the second week in December. I'm not sure. They talk. Like I said, I don't ask anybody to come on. I make it easy for everybody to say no. So I don't ask. I have Joe ask. I have Eddie ask. Some people just call in. They talk and they want to come on. They come on. I don't ask anybody to come on. Okay, Manny, I have to say Monday gets a lot of views. We're up to 64 tonight. I thought you were going to bed, Manny. Manny, need some more thumbs up for Big Larry Rolla. The other day I was accused of, in fact, Gregory Peck accused me of being a shill for Manny. He said, "How come you're talking so nice about him?" Well, first of all, I'm talking nice about him because he really is a nice guy. And I was disrespectful to him. So, it always happens that way. Sometimes you overdo things. And if I overdo the bad things, I have to overdo the
good things
to make it right. So that's how I feel about it.
You're fair and balanced.
Howard Liebman checking in to see my friends Larry and Joe. Hope Joe's dad is doing better. I'm BBC beginning a long-term plan to get rid of ailments. We wish you a lot of luck, Howard. Keep us informed. We wish you a lot of luck. Hope this works for you.
I'm in touch with him. He keeps me posted.
Good. Okay. All right. Now that's it. Joe, we've been on for an hour and a half.
Wow.
I'm tired.
This is I've been on both records, 4.5 hours and an hour and a half.
Is it okay with you if we kind of pack it in, call it a day?
Whatever you want to do. You're the chief.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this song and then I'm gonna pack it in. Okay.
Yeah, you better take your meds and go to bed, Larry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take them. I'm gonna try to sleep because I want. No, you think that's a good idea? Let everything be so inflamed that it'd be easy for him to locate.
Listen, if you're in a lot of pain, take them. If you get through, you get through.
The pain is just gonna the pills are just gonna get rid of the pain. I think the inflammation's still gonna be there because
of course, it only blocks the receptors. That's all it does. The brain receptors for the pain. It's not going to cure the problem.
But if he hits the right nerve, I want to be able to say, yeah, that's it. I don't want
to. Believe me, those pills will not make a difference. If he comes close to that nerve, you're going to know it.
Okay. All right. So then I'll probably take, because my appointment's not till 11:30. So if I take one now, I just want to be able to sleep. That's all.
Well, then
okay, folks, thank you all for tuning in. That's it. I'm going to play my favorite song that was written especially for me. Thank you all for tuning in. Here goes. Good night, all.
Before you go to sleep, send me that thing, okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Good night, everybody.
those grudges, ditch those judges. They're just weighing you down. Drop the haters, procrastinators, 'cause one man's smile is just another one's frown. When it's time for the end, ain't no warning, my friend. One day you're here, next stop the pearly gates. So listen close to what I'm saying.
I sent it, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Saying, lighten up, it's getting late. Dump collections, self-reflections, they're just covered in dust. Why obsess, worry or stress? Just ask yourself, what's the fuss? When your doctor calls you on a Sunday afternoon, gonna be a blue Monday, you'll be howling at the moon. You know you never can cheat fate. Lighten up, it's getting late. Forget bling and glitter, text and Twitter. Don't need it to make my case. Say it old school, face to face. I dump the users, soul abusers, turn and walk away. Give yourself a kick in the ass, then raise your glass. Let's toast to the past and make the most of today. Keep the faith, rise above, do the things that you love. Find a reason every day to celebrate. So listen close to what I'm saying. Lighten up, it's getting late. Blast, live it full, life goes fast. Carrying around too much dead weight. All the simple things are all that matter. Lighten up, it's getting late. Oh, what the hell? IGL. Oh, lighten up, it's getting late.
Good night, Joe.
Good night, Larry.